How did one small choice at the airport turn into papers served in a public lobby while strangers watched? Why did my husband stay calm, collect proof, and let his lawyer speak for him until I lost the house, the money, and even my story online? What could I say when the legal result landed and everyone finally saw who I really was? My name is Evadne Sorrell, but everyone calls me Eve. I was 34 then, and I worked in marketing for a travel company. I knew how to sell a story. I knew how to make a simple thing look big, and how to make a big thing look small. I also knew how to look calm while I did it. That week, I told myself I was tired of being the only adult in my marriage. I told myself Graham was always serious, always tired, always acting like I was a problem to manage. If I wanted to meet my ex for 1 hour, I said it was not cheating. I said it was just time for me. I said I had needs, and I had been patient for years. Graham came home from work early on Tuesday. He put his suitcase by the door like he was going to move out, even though he was not. He said he had a flight later and would be back the same night. He asked if I could pick him up from the airport. I acted like he had asked me to carry him on my back. I said I had a lot going on. I said my job was busy. I said I was not his driver. He looked at me and asked why everything felt like a fight. I said it was because he made it a fight. He told me his flight number and landing time, like it was normal. He asked if I wanted him to take a taxi instead. I said I could do it, but I said it in a way that made it sound like a sacrifice. I watched his face. I wanted him to feel guilty. I told myself he needed to learn respect. After he left, the kitchen felt quiet. 2 mugs sat by the sink. One was mine, one was his. I did not put them away. I liked seeing the split. It made me feel like I had power. I checked my phone. Ethan had sent a message earlier. He said he would be near the river after work and asked if I still remembered the old bench. I stared at the words and felt my body wake up in a way it did not with my husband. I told myself that meant something. I told myself it meant I was alive. I texted Ethan back and said I could meet for a short time. I told him I could not be long. He sent a quick reply with a smiley face and said he missed my laugh. I felt proud, like I still mattered. Then I called my friend Cassidy. I told her Graham expected me to pick him up like I was his employee. She asked what I was going to do. I said I might be busy. She laughed and said he needed to get humbled sometimes. She said men only learn when they feel fear. I said I did not want fear. I said I wanted balance. But inside, I liked the idea of him waiting. I also called my sister Danny. I told her Graham was acting needy again. She asked if I was really going to skip the airport pickup. I said I was not skipping it. I said I just had something important first. She asked what was important. I said it was personal. That afternoon, I moved through my day like I was innocent. I answered emails. I made a small post online about self-care and boundaries. I did not mention Graham. I did not mention the airport. I used a soft quote about choosing yourself. People liked it. That mattered to me more than it should have. At 5, Graham texted me. He said boarding started. He asked if I was okay. I replied with a thumbs up. That was enough. I told myself he did not need details. I told myself details were a trap. At 6, he texted again. He said the plane was on time. He said he would land at 7:20. He asked if I wanted him to pick up dinner at the airport or if I would drive through somewhere. I read the message and felt annoyed. It sounded caring, but it also sounded like planning. Planning felt like control. I did not answer right away. I put my phone face down on the counter. I looked at the fridge and the magnets, and the small family photo from last summer. Mila was smiling in that picture. Graham's arm was around me. I remembered how the photo looked good, but the day did not feel good. I told myself a nice photo was not proof of a nice marriage. I took my keys and left. The drive to the river was simple. The sky was grey-blue, and the streets had that end-of-day rush. My phone buzzed again as I drove, but I did not pick it up. I told myself I was being safe. I told myself I could reply later. I also told myself that making him wait would teach him something. I did not name what, because it did not make sense. It just felt right. Ethan was already there, leaning against his car. When I stepped out, he smiled like I was a prize. He asked if I was still mad at the world. I said I was just tired. He said Graham did not know how to have fun. I did not correct him. I let him say it. We walked along the river. He asked about my job. I said it was boring but stable. He asked if Graham still acted like a boss at home. I said he did, and I said he liked rules more than people. Ethan shook his head and said, I deserved better. That word, deserved, hit me like warm air. I held it close. I told myself I had earned a little happiness. I told myself Graham had left me alone in the marriage first, even if he was sitting right there every night. Ethan asked if I missed him. I said I missed feeling seen. He said he saw me now. He said he never forgot me. I did not stop him. I also did not think about how easy that was for him to say. In that moment, I wanted easy. I wanted a story where I was the hero. My phone buzzed again. I checked it and saw Graham's name. He asked if I was on my way. He said his plane was landing. He asked if I needed the terminal number. My chest tightened, but I did not call it guilt. I called it irritation. I wrote back and said traffic was heavy and I was leaving soon. That was not fully true, but it was close enough. I told myself close enough was honesty. Ethan watched me type. He asked if my husband was checking on me again. I said yes, like it was annoying. Ethan said Graham sounded insecure. I said he was insecure. I said he had always been insecure. I made it sound like a fact, not a choice I was making. Then I looked at the time and did a quick calculation. If I left right then, I could maybe arrive before Graham walked out. If I stayed 10 more minutes, I would miss him. I stared at the screen like the clock was a judge. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. I stayed. I told Ethan I needed to go soon. He asked why I was rushing. I said my husband expected me to pick him up. Ethan laughed and said, grown men could use an app like everyone else. He asked why I kept doing wife duties when Graham did not treat me like a queen. I said I did not know. I said maybe I was too nice. I liked how that sounded, too nice, like I was a victim of kindness, not a person making choices. At 7:26, my phone rang. I let it ring once, twice, 3 times. Then I answered with a voice that sounded busy. Graham asked where I was. I said I was almost there. He asked if I had left the house late. I said there was an unexpected work call. He paused, then asked why my location showed me far from the airport. I said phones were wrong sometimes. I said he was being paranoid. He did not shout. He did not insult me. He just went quiet for a second, like he was taking a breath. Then he said he would get a ride home. He said he would talk later. That calm made me angry. I wanted him loud. I wanted him messy. I wanted proof that he was the bad one. Calm made him look reasonable, and I hated that. I drove to the airport anyway, even though I knew I was too late. I pulled up near arrivals and saw people hugging and laughing and pulling bags. I scanned faces like I was searching for someone who should be waiting for me, not the other way around. Graham was not there. I sat in my car and held the steering wheel too tight. I opened my messages and saw a new text from an unknown number. It was short, almost polite. It asked if I could confirm where I was at 7:20 because it mattered. I stared at it and felt a cold line move down my back, even though the night was not cold. I drove home with my headlights on, even though the streets were still lit. I told myself I had done nothing serious. I said it was only a missed pickup. I said grown adults could use a ride app. I repeated those lines in my head like they were facts. When I walked into the house, the hall light was off. The air felt clean and still, like someone had already decided to stop fighting. Graham stood in the kitchen. He did not look angry. That made me feel exposed. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. He asked why I had not answered earlier. I said my phone was acting up. He looked at my face like he was studying it, not judging it. Then he nodded once, like he had heard enough. He told me he got home safely. He said he ordered a ride and saved the receipt because his company reimbursed it. I heard the words and felt a pinch in my chest. It sounded normal, but it also sounded careful. I asked why he was being so calm. He said he did not want to talk in front of Mila. I said Mila was asleep anyway. He said she still lived in the house, and he did not want yelling in the walls. I wanted to say he was being dramatic, but I could not find a fight that would look good. My phone buzzed again. The unknown number sent another message. It said it did not want trouble, but it wanted a clear answer. It asked if I was with Ethan. It even spelled his name right. I stared at the screen. I did not reply. I told myself it was probably Cassidy trying to scare me. I told myself it was just gossip. But the timing felt sharp, like someone had been watching the clock. Graham saw my face change. He asked who it was. I said it was spam. He did not push. He just turned his head and looked at the sink, where our 2 mugs still sat apart. Then he went upstairs without a slam. That quiet walk felt like a door closing. The next morning, I woke up with a plan. Not a good plan, but a plan that made me feel safe. I decided I would control the story first. I had learned that if you spoke first, people believed you longer. At breakfast, Graham sat across from me, drinking coffee. Mila ate cereal and asked if Dad had been on a plane. Graham said yes and smiled at her. Mila asked why Mom did not pick him up. I felt heat rise in my face. I told Mila there was traffic and a work call. Graham did not correct me. He just wiped Mila's chin with a napkin and said it was okay. His kindness made me angry because it made my lie look bigger. After Mila left for school, I followed Graham into the hallway. I asked if he was going to punish me with silence. He asked what I meant. I said he was acting cold. He said he was thinking. I told him thinking was just another way to control. He said he was not controlling me, and he was not going to fight. I wanted him to say I was wrong. I wanted him to shout so I could call him unstable. He did not. I texted Cassidy and told her Graham was doing his calm act again. She said calm men were the most dangerous, but not in a crime way. She meant they could make you look crazy without trying. She told me to get ahead of it. She said I should go out that night and show everyone I was fine. I agreed. I told myself it was not about revenge. I told myself it was about having a life. That afternoon at work, I sat at my desk and acted like my world was normal. I sent emails. I made a small draft for a campaign. Then I opened my social page and posted a soft message about boundaries and respect. I did not name Graham, but I made it easy to guess. People reacted fast. A few hearts. A few comments about protect your peace. I felt relief. It felt like proof that I was right. Then Noah, my manager, appeared beside my desk. He asked if I had a moment. I said I was busy. He said it would be quick and pointed to the small room near HR. Inside, Noah closed the door. He asked if I was dealing with something personal that might spill into work. I said no. He asked if my husband had called the office. I said he had not, because my husband was not dramatic. Noah said he hoped that was true because someone had asked about me by name, and it made the front desk uncomfortable. I asked who. Noah said he did not know, and he did not want to start gossip. He said he just wanted to remind me about professionalism. I said I was professional. He said the company did not want public scenes in the lobby. I left the room with my jaw tight. I told myself Graham was trying to embarrass me at work. I told myself he was doing it on purpose. I did not stop to check if that made sense. That evening, I went to a rooftop bar with Cassidy and 2 other friends. The air was cold, but the heaters made it feel warm. The place was loud and bright. It was the kind of place where people loved being seen. Cassidy asked what I would say if people asked about Graham. I said I would tell the truth. Then I changed what truth meant. I said Graham treated me like a schedule. I said he acted like I owed him obedience. I said the airport thing was just one example of his control. One friend asked if I had actually cheated. I laughed like it was a joke. I said cheating was a strong word. I said I was just trying to breathe. They nodded, and the nods felt like permission. Cassidy took a picture of our drinks and posted it. She tagged me. She wrote a caption about girls who choose themselves. I watched the likes climb. I felt powerful, like I was winning. When I got home, the house was quiet again. Graham sat on the stairwell landing with his phone in his hand. He was not scrolling. He was waiting, but he did not look angry. He asked if I had fun. I said I needed it. He asked if I was going to keep posting about him. I said I was posting about my life. He said my life included him and Mila. I said he was making it about himself. He stood and walked into the bedroom, but he did not get into bed. He went to the closet and pulled out a spare blanket. He said he would sleep in the guest room. I asked if he was trying to make me feel guilty. He said he was trying to sleep. As he passed me, I noticed his laptop on the dresser. The screen was on for 1 second, and I saw rows and columns like a spreadsheet. I did not see a title. I only saw dates and short notes. When he noticed my eyes, he closed it with one calm motion. I tried to laugh. I asked if he was doing homework on me. He looked at me and said he was organizing his life. Then he walked away. Later, when the house was dark, I heard a soft beep from his phone, like an alarm. I heard him open and close a drawer. The sound was small, but it landed heavy in my mind. I lay in bed and told myself I was still in control. But my phone buzzed again, and the unknown number sent one more message. It said it had screenshots, and it asked if I wanted to handle this in private before it became public. I stared at the words until my eyes hurt, and for the first time, I did not know what story to tell. I told myself the unknown number was not real danger. I said it was just someone trying to scare me. I said if I looked confident, it would go away. That is how I lived then. I did not fix things. I performed over them. A few days later, Mila's school had a fundraiser at the community hall. It was one of those loud family events with folding tables and paper signs. Parents brought food. Teachers smiled too hard. Everyone watched everyone. I hated these events, but I also loved them because they were a stage. Graham said he would go early to help set up. I said he was trying to look like a hero. He asked if I was coming. I said of course I was coming because Mila needed us. He asked if we could keep things calm. I said he was the one who needed calm, not me. In the car, Mila chatted about her class project. Graham listened and asked her questions. He sounded steady, like nothing was wrong. I watched him in the rearview mirror and felt annoyed. I told myself he was acting. I told myself he wanted people to pity him. When we arrived, I saw Cassidy near the entrance. She waved like this was a party. She asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. She asked where Ethan was. I said I did not know what she meant. She smiled and said I did not need to pretend with her. I had already told Ethan about the fundraiser. I had said it would be random if he came by. I made it sound harmless. I said it was public, so it could not be wrong. That was my logic. If it was in the open, I said it was clean. Inside, Mila ran to her teacher. Graham carried a box of donated items to a table. He greeted other parents and nodded like a polite stranger. I followed behind and acted like the event was boring. I wanted people to ask me what was wrong, so I could tell them my version first. Cassidy introduced me to 2 women I barely knew. One asked how married life was. I laughed and said, marriage was a lot of work when one person loved rules more than love. She asked what I meant. I said Graham treated me like a schedule. Cassidy added that I deserved someone who actually looked at me. The women made sounds of sympathy. I felt my shoulders relax. Graham came back to our table and asked if I had seen Mila's name tag. I said he should know because he was the perfect dad. He looked at me and asked if we could not do this here. I said I was not doing anything. I said he was sensitive. That was when I saw Ethan. He stood near the snack table with a casual smile, like he belonged. He wore a clean jacket and held a small paper cup. He looked around, then looked at me. His eyes stayed on me like we had a secret. My pulse jumped. I hated that it jumped because it made me feel weak. I told myself it was normal. I told myself he was just familiar. Cassidy noticed him too. She grinned and said it was perfect timing. I said it was not timing. It was coincidence. She laughed like she did not believe me. Ethan walked over. He greeted Cassidy first, then said hi to me. He asked how I had been. I said busy. He asked if I was still stuck in the same situation. I said it was complicated. He glanced at Graham and said he did not want drama. I said there would be no drama because Graham was mature. Graham stepped closer, still calm. He asked who Ethan was. I said Ethan was an old friend. Graham asked from where. I said from before. Like that explained everything. He asked if I planned this. I said he was imagining things. Ethan said he did not want to cause problems and could leave. I said no, he could stay. I made that decision fast, like a dare. Graham nodded once. He told Ethan hello in a flat, polite way. He did not shake hands. He did not puff up his chest. He did not raise his voice. That calm made the air feel tight because people wanted a show and he refused to give one. Later, Mila ran up and tugged my sleeve. She asked if Ethan was my friend. I said yes, and I said friends could come to school events. She asked if Dad was okay. I said Dad was always okay, but he liked to act sad for attention. I said it softly, but Graham heard it. He looked at me and asked if I really wanted to say that about him in front of Mila. I said Mila did not understand. He said she understood more than I thought. Then he walked away to help a teacher carry chairs. I watched him go. I told myself he was doing it to look good. I told myself he was using the teachers as witnesses. I did not admit that I was doing the same thing with my friends. When the auction part started, people gathered near a small stage. Someone asked for group photos. Cassidy pulled me and Ethan into the frame. She said it was cute. Ethan put his arm lightly behind my back, like he was guiding me. I did not move away. I wanted the picture to exist. I wanted it to be normal so I could say it was normal. I saw Graham a few steps away. He was holding Mila's jacket. He looked at us, then looked down at his phone. For a second, I thought he was texting me, but he was not. He lifted his phone like he was checking messages. The phone made a faint beep, like a recording app starting. Then he lowered it. His face stayed blank. I told myself he was spying. I told myself he was creepy. I told myself that made him the villain again. It helped me breathe. After the fundraiser, we left in 2 cars. Graham said he would take Mila home. I said I needed to stop somewhere. He asked where. I said errands. He asked if I wanted him to wait. I said no, because I did not need a babysitter. I met Ethan near a gym lobby, because it was bright and public. That was my trick. If it was public, I said it was safe. Ethan asked why I always chose places with cameras. I said I did not like secrets, like that was true. He said I loved secrets. I said he was wrong. He asked if Graham suspected something. I said Graham suspected everything because he was insecure. Ethan asked if Graham had ever caught me. I said no because I was careful. That was a lie, but I believed it while I said it. We did not stay long. Ethan said he had a shoot later and needed to go. I said I also needed to go. He asked when he would see me again. I said soon, but I did not give a date. I like keeping him wanting more. On the metro ride home, my phone showed a missed call from no caller ID. There was no voicemail. I stared at it. My stomach felt hollow. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself I was important enough for people to chase me. That thought made me feel better for a moment. When I got home, Graham was in the living room with Mila, helping her glue paper shapes for her project. He looked up and asked if my errand went fine. I said yes. He asked where I had gone. I said the pharmacy. He asked what I bought. I said it did not matter. He nodded slowly. He told Mila it was time to wash hands. She ran to the bathroom. Then he asked me, very quietly, why I kept putting him in positions where he looked foolish. I said he only looked foolish because he chose to. He asked if Ethan was more than a friend. I laughed and said Graham was obsessed. I said he needed therapy. I said he was making things up because he wanted to control me. He listened without interrupting. Then he said he would not argue tonight. He said he would focus on Mila and sleep. I followed him into the kitchen and asked if he was going to punish me with silence again. He asked why I called it punishment when he was simply refusing to fight. I said refusing to fight was still a tactic. He did not answer that. He opened a drawer, took out a clean mug, and put it on the counter far from mine. 2 separate mugs again, like a line drawn with ceramic. I watched him wash his hands. I noticed a small new key on his ring. I noticed his phone lit up with a calendar reminder that only said meeting personal. He turned the screen down quickly when he saw my eyes. He did not look scared. He looked decided. That night, I lay in bed and scrolled through the fundraiser photos people posted. In one photo, Ethan's arm was behind me, and Graham stood in the background with Mila's jacket in his hand, watching like a stranger. Comments started to appear. Some were jokes, some were questions. I felt my face burn, but I also felt a thrill. Attention was attention. Then my phone buzzed again. The unknown number sent a single image preview. It was a screenshot of Cassidy's tagged photo, zoomed in on Ethan's hand behind my back. Under it, there was a short line. It said the timeline was already saved. The screenshot stayed on my screen like a bruise. It was not a threat with loud words. It was worse. It was quiet proof. I told myself I could still bend it. I said one picture did not mean anything. I said people saw what they wanted to see. I said if Graham was hurt, that was his choice. In the morning, Mila asked why Dad had not eaten breakfast with us. I said Dad was busy. She asked why Dad slept in the other room. I said adults needed space sometimes. She looked at my face for a long second, like she was checking if my words matched my eyes. Then she asked if she did something wrong. My chest tightened. I told her she did nothing wrong. I hugged her and held on too long, not for her, but for me. I wanted to feel like I was still the good person in the story. At school pickup, the line moved slowly. Parents stood near their cars and talked in small groups. I saw the same faces from the fundraiser. I felt them look at me. One mom smiled too hard and asked if everything was okay at home. I said everything was fine. She asked if Graham was traveling again. I said he worked too much. I said I was basically a single parent. I said it like it was a badge. I wanted sympathy. I wanted people to think I carried the family alone. In my head, if I looked burdened, then my choices looked like survival. Mila got into the car and asked if Dad would come to the weekend outing. I said maybe. She asked why Dad did not laugh with me anymore. I said Dad took life too seriously. Mila said she liked when Dad laughed. I said he could laugh if he wanted to. She went quiet. Her quiet felt like a door closing inside the car. That evening, we had dinner with Graham's parents at a family restaurant. A long table. 2 bright lights. Too many chances to say the wrong thing. I told myself I would be charming. I told myself charm could cover anything. Janice hugged Mila first, then she hugged Graham. Then she gave me a small, polite touch on the shoulder. It felt like a greeting. You give a coworker you do not trust. Robert asked Graham about his flight and his work. Graham answered in short sentences. Janice asked me how my week was. I said it was stressful because I carried everything. I said Graham was distant. I said he acted like I did not exist. I made my voice soft, like I was sharing pain, not blame. Janice asked what I meant by distant. I said he did not initiate anything anymore. I said he was cold. I said it was like living with a roommate. I watched her face for the reaction I wanted. I wanted her to turn on him. Janice did not. She looked at Graham and asked if that was true. Graham said he did not want to discuss private matters at dinner. He said he was focusing on Mila and stability. He said he was not trying to hurt anyone. I jumped in fast. I said he was always stable in public and different at home. I said he liked to look like the good guy. I said he was controlling in quiet ways. Robert asked what quiet ways. I said he questioned my time. I said he tracked me. I said he did not trust me. Graham set his fork down. He asked if I was saying he tracked me. I said yes, because he had asked about my location at the airport. I said only a controlling man would do that. Graham asked if a spouse, asking where I was during a planned pickup, was really tracking. I said yes, because it felt like it. Janice looked down at her plate and took a slow breath. She asked if there was someone else. The question was calm, but it landed hard. I laughed like she was silly. I said, of course not. I said people always tried to blame women for everything. I said I was just asking for basic respect. Mila swung her feet under the table and watched our faces. I hated that she was watching. After dinner, Janice asked to speak with Graham near the entrance. I stood close enough to hear, because I needed control. Janice told Graham she did not want to take sides, but she could not ignore what she saw. She said she would support him if he needed space. Robert told Graham to protect Mila first. I stepped forward and said it was unfair. I said they were treating me like a criminal. Janice looked at me and asked why I spoke like a victim while acting like a bully. My face went hot. I told her she did not know our marriage. I told her she only saw what Graham showed her. Graham asked if we could go home. I said I was not ready to go home. I said I needed air. Graham said Mila needed sleep. I said Mila could sleep in the car. Graham said no, and he said it like a rule. That word, no, made me want to win. On the drive back, Mila fell asleep with her head against the window. Graham drove carefully. His hands were steady on the wheel. I stared at his hands and felt rage, because steady hands meant steady choices, and steady choices meant I could not shake him. When we got home, Graham carried Mila inside. He did it quietly. He brushed her hair back and tucked her into bed. I stood in the hallway and watched, feeling like an outsider in my own house. In the kitchen, I tried again. I asked if he enjoyed turning his parents against me. He said he had not turned anyone. He said I had done that myself. I said he was blaming me for everything. He said he was not blaming, he was observing. I told him he was cold. I told him he made me feel alone. He asked why I kept talking about feelings but avoided facts. He asked where I was when he landed. He asked why Ethan was at Mila's fundraiser. He asked why I kept posting boundaries online like he was a monster. I said he was twisting things. I said Ethan was a friend. I said the airport was traffic. I said my posts were general. I said Graham was paranoid and insecure. I said if he trusted me, none of this would exist. He looked at me for a long time, like he was letting my words hang in the air to show what they were. Then he walked to the hallway closet and took out a small metal cash box. He did not open it in front of me. He just moved it to a higher shelf. I asked what that was. He said it was household paperwork. I laughed and said he was hiding secrets now. He said he was organizing. He said he was tired of chaos. Later, I heard a shredder hum from the office room. It was not loud, but it was steady, like someone cleaning up a mess. I told myself he was destroying things to hide his control tactics. I told myself I should be afraid. But the truth was, I was afraid for a different reason. I was afraid he was building something I could not talk my way out of. My phone lit up again. Another no-caller ID missed call. Then a new notification appeared, a cloud sync message that said a file upload was successful. I did not know whose phone it came from, but I saw it reflected in the dark screen of Graham's laptop as he closed the door to the office room. I did not sleep well after that. The house felt like it had new rules, even though nobody wrote them down. In the morning, I found Graham already awake. He had his phone on the counter, screen down. His coffee mug was not near mine anymore. It sat on the far side, like a marker. I told myself he was doing it to punish me. I said he wanted me to notice. I also noticed the small things that did not fit my story. The trash was empty, like someone had cleaned it out. The printer tray was open, but there was no paper inside. The office door was shut, and I heard a soft click when it closed, like a lock. I tried to pull him into a fight anyway. I asked if he was going to keep acting like a stranger. He said he was just trying to keep the home calm for Mila. I said Mila was not a baby and could handle real life. He asked if I thought real life meant arguing in front of her. I said he was twisting my words. When Mila came into the kitchen, Graham smiled and asked about her backpack. Mila asked if we were going to the park this weekend. Graham said we could plan something simple. I said plans always came from him, like he was the manager. Graham looked at me and asked if I could not compete with him in front of Mila. I said I was not competing. I said I was stating facts. After school drop-off, I called Cassidy. I told her Graham was making me feel like a criminal in my own home. Cassidy asked if he had proof of anything. I said he did not, because he never caught me. Cassidy said men did not need to catch you to ruin you. They only needed a clean story. She told me I had to look like the calm one. She said I had to show people that Graham was unstable. That word, unstable, felt useful. I decided to build around it. I went to the supermarket in the afternoon. I told myself I was doing a normal wife task, the kind nobody thanked me for. I also told myself I needed to test something. Money was the one place Graham could not be calm without it showing. At the checkout, I loaded groceries, cereal, fruit, Mila's yogurt, chicken, soap. The cashier scanned everything and said the total. I tapped the usual card. It declined. I tried again, pretending it was a machine error. It declined again. The cashier asked if I had another form of payment. People behind me shifted and sighed. I felt the heat of their eyes. I forced a laugh and said the card must be acting up. I tapped a different card, and it also declined. I could hear my heart in my ears. I told myself this was Graham. I told myself he had planned it to embarrass me. I told myself he was proving my point about control. I called Graham right there, standing by the gum display. I asked why the card was not working. He said he was not sure and asked if I could use my own card for now. I said I did not have my own card with enough room. He asked what I meant by enough room. I said he knew what I meant. He asked if I wanted him to come pay. I said no, because I did not want him to look like a hero. He arrived anyway, calm as always. He greeted the cashier and paid with a different card. The payment went through on the first try. He did not look at me like I was guilty. He looked at me like I was a problem he did not want to solve in public. In the parking lot, I snapped at him. I asked if he enjoyed humiliating me. He said he had not humiliated me, and he had come to help. I said help was not help if it came with control. He asked what control meant in my mind. I said it meant he could turn my life off with one button. He said he was not turning my life off. He was separating responsibilities. That phrase made my stomach drop. Separating responsibilities sounded like a future I did not want. On the drive home, I kept talking because silence felt like losing. I said he was trying to trap me. I said he was punishing me because I had friends. I said he was creating a financial cage. Graham asked if I was hearing myself. I said he was gaslighting me. He said he was not doing that, and he said he wanted to keep the conversation simple. At home, Mila ran to the bags and asked if we got her favorite snacks. I smiled at her like nothing was wrong. I told myself that smile proved I was not the bad one. Graham carried the heavy bags without a word. Later, when Mila was in her room, I went into the kitchen and started again. I asked what he was doing with the money. He said bills were paid and Mila's needs were covered. I asked why my card declined. He said he was protecting the household account from surprises. I asked what surprises. He asked if I really wanted to act confused. I told him he was accusing me without proof. I told him he was acting like his parents, judging me. I told him he was cold, and he had pushed me away for years. I said if I looked elsewhere, it was because he had left me alone first. He listened like I was a radio he could turn down. That made me louder. I said he was making me desperate on purpose. I said he wanted me to beg. I said I would not beg. He asked if I was threatening him. I said I was warning him that people would hear my side. He asked what my side was. I said my side was that I was a person, not his property. He asked if I had been with Ethan at the airport. I laughed and said his brain was rotten with jealousy. He asked if Ethan was at the fundraiser by accident. I said yes, because life happened. He asked if it was also an accident that my phone went dark during his landing time. I said phones failed. I said he was obsessed with tracking. He nodded slowly, like he was putting my answers into a box. I noticed his phone light up on the counter with a reminder that said paper drop. I pretended not to see. Then I saw a folder on the table with a plain label that said bank. He moved it away when I reached for it. I asked what he was hiding. He said he was not hiding, he was preparing. I asked for what? He said for reality. That scared me, so I attacked harder. I told him he had always wanted me small. I told him he did not want a wife. He wanted a worker. I told him he did not touch me because he thought I was dirty. He looked at me and asked if I really wanted to talk about touch while I was lying to his face. I said I was not lying. I said I was protecting my peace. He took a slow breath. He asked me to stop posting about him. He said public stories did not fix private problems. I said he was afraid of the truth. He said he was not afraid, and he was done arguing. I followed him into the hallway and asked where he was going. He said he was going to check on Mila. I asked if he was going to run to his parents. He said no. He said he was going to handle it properly. My phone buzzed at 9:12, right as I walked into the office tower lobby with my coffee. I told myself I would have a calm day. I told myself Graham's properly line was just drama. A woman in a plain blazer stepped in front of me and asked if I was Evadne Sorrell. I said yes, because I was not going to look scared. She said she had documents for me and asked me to confirm my address. I said she did not need my address because she was standing in front of me. She said it was standard and held out an envelope anyway. 2 co-workers slowed down near the security desk. I felt their eyes on my face. I laughed and said it must be a mistake. The woman said it was not a mistake and noted the time on her phone. She said I had been served. I opened the envelope with shaking hands. I saw my name, Graham's name, and words that made my throat go dry. It was not a threat, it was a process. It had dates and rules and consequences. I called Graham. He did not answer. I texted him and asked what he was doing. He replied later and said he would only talk about Mila by message and that everything else would go through his lawyer. I told myself that was cold. I also knew it was clean. 2 days later, I stood in a courthouse lobby with strangers sitting on metal benches. I saw Graham on the other side with his mother. He did not come close. His lawyer spoke for him in a low voice. I tried to speak first and explain feelings, but the clerk told me to wait. Inside, the judge looked at papers and asked short questions. Graham answered without anger. He said he had records and wanted stability for Mila. His lawyer listed dates, spending notes, and my posts. My stomach dropped when I heard my own captions described as claims, not opinions. The judge made temporary orders. The judge said Graham would have exclusive possession of the home for now, and the household accounts would be protected. The judge set a strict exchange plan for Mila and said we would use a parenting app. The judge also ordered me to remove certain posts and stop making false public claims. I walked out holding my bag, like it was the last thing I still owned.